Hi, I'm Cecilia Sapp. I'm a certified association executive, and I'm the founder and owner of Road Tulips LLC, which is a consulting firm supporting 501c organizations. I'm also the founder and CEO of the 501c League, which is a virtual membership organization for anyone who works within the 501c community. And I'm here with my friend Agnes.
Hi, Cecilia. I'm Agnes Amos Coleman. I'm an author, consultant with Rogue Tulip, and member of the 501c Association Mentoring Network.
Great, and thanks for adding that about the mentoring network. We do need mentors. If you're interested, please go to our website, www.the501cleague.net, and you can use the link to the mentoring program to sign up. So thanks for that additional plug today, Agnes. Today we're here to talk about part 2 of Agnes's book, Transforming Business Through Godly Governance. And section 2 talks about transformation through service to others. And the 3 characteristics in this area are forbearance, kindness, and goodness. I think most of us, Agnes, know what kindness and goodness are. Could you talk a little bit about what forbearance is and how you can apply it in the workplace?
Sure, Cecilia, and thank you for that. You know, forbearance is one of those words that people don't use very often these days, but in its simplest form, it actually just means patience. And you and I'm always very amazed at this, actually, that we often expect people to be patient with us in the business environment, but we're not always patient with each other. And that, for me, I always find very fascinating. And our patience is often tested in the business environment, either by our colleagues, by our peers, just generally when we work with each other, there is that opportunity to have, I call it an opportunity to have conflict, because it does happen, and it's definitely an opportunity for us to turn things around. And I don't know about you, Cecilia, I've often been very tempted when people, do things to me in the workplace, or I do things to them in the workplace. I always feel like they're encroaching on my rights, right? And I want to give them my peace of mind. And really, it shouldn't be so. And I think that in the business environment, we can take a step back and assess situations versus reacting. And that's really a practical way that you and I, or in the business environment, that we can definitely show that characteristics of patience. And as game changers, we must not engage in the blame game. That's a key part of where our patience get tested, and all we want to do is just blame others for what happens in that particular situation. So rather than playing the blame game, I think we must express empathy, and we must be patient to those who need more time and affirmation to get things done within our business environment.
And I think that's really a good point. I think the blame game, I never think of that as related to patience, but I think that's a good thing to tie it to, because our initial reaction is to blame other people. And I think that's in a lot of situations. We all do it. I catch myself doing it. It's actually something I work on.
Yes.
Don't blame, just try to figure out what's going on. And I think that's where the patience comes in.
Agreed.
A lot of times in the office, we're all on top of each other, or you have maybe a gossip network going on in the office. I've worked at organizations where there was like a huge gossip grapevine, and I personally don't have patience or forbearance for gossip, because I think it undermines people.
Yes.
And I think being patient with our coworkers is really an important thing, because we're all not going to catch on to stuff as quickly. And again, personally, it's something that I work on, because I catch on to stuff very quickly. I learn things very quickly. I can figure things out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, sometimes I have to slow down and let other people catch up. And I think,
and really, that's the foundation of that. And that's why forbearance or patience, it's definitely a gift that we give to others. And you're right. It's a characteristics that we're all developing. A lot of these characteristics that we've been going through, we don't all have it. We're all either there working towards it, or trying to be better. And nobody's perfect. We don't live in a perfect world. But I think the key here is that we at least want to try. And if we want to be game changers in our business environment, we must be positive influences, and we have to create what we want others to become. And I think that's really the foundation of all this. And that's the premise of the book. We're not all there yet, but it's something that we can strive towards. Mm-hmm. And we can definitely, make a change one person at a time.
Well, and I think that's a really good point about it. It's not a perfect world, and we are not perfect beings. And so some days we're going to be more patient than others. Some days we're going to be kinder than others. And some days we're going to be good more often than others. But I do like, if you could talk a little bit more about, you label kindness as the legs to action. How is kindness the leg to action?
That's fascinating because when you think about it, you and I, and in the business environment, or anybody that I've ever met, as humans, we desire kindness. It's an innate thing that's built in us. We want people to show us kindness. We want to receive kindness, and we also want to give kindness. It's just that sometimes we're not sure how to go about it. But as human beings, it's something that we desire. And let's reflect on this for a minute, Cecilia. Think about a time where in the business environment, somebody has shown you kindness, how that made you feel. For me, it made me feel great. It made me feel like I'm valued and I matter and people care about me. And then think about a time where the opposite was the case, where people were not kind to you, whether in a meeting somebody shut you down, or it was a partner engagement and they were not, very receptive to your ideas, but they did it in a very negative way. How did that make you feel? It just makes us feel as if we're not valued, or, we're being undermined. And I think kindness becomes the legs of action when we take a step to show and help our peers and our co-workers how to overcome a roadblock, particularly if they're struggling with a project, affirming them and encouraging them, or rooting for their success, when they've done something well, or maybe if they've not even done things well, helping them boost their confidence. These are many areas and ways that we can show kindness in our business environment. But one thing that's very sure, Cecilia, is this: you and I crave and we need kindness in our business environment. It makes us better partners. It makes us better consultants. It makes us better employers, employees. It makes us, just good people eventually. I mean, and I think that definitely is something that we should, strive to work towards if we don't have that spirit of kindness.
Well, and then you say goodness is hands reaching out. So that's related to kindness, because kindness can be the energy behind the actual helping of people. So is that how you connect patience or forbearance with the kindness and goodness? Because you maybe need to be patient to help people?
With goodness, the simple definition of goodness is moral excellence. And the reason why I love that definition is because it calls us, whether we're employers, employees, founders, consultants, really accountable for our minute by minute and our day by day actions to each other's. And that's why I like that definition of moral excellence. It's not us versus them. It's all of us. We're the game changers, which is the premise of the book, not them versus us. So we all have to be accountable in our goodness to each other within the business environment. We have to be sensitive. We have to be aware of our colleagues, who are not well appreciated. We have to be sensitive to the needs of others. We have to learn how to, whether we're employers, employees, we have to look at how we can maximize each other's potential. And I think that that's really why goodness becomes that hand that reaches out to say, I'm here, I'm responsible. Part of my moral excellence is to really be there for you and to support you to be the best that you can be. And it's often been said, and it's not just even been said, there's research that shows that organizations that are engaged in kindness or engage in goodness reap the reward of a loyal community and hence impact the bottom line positively. And I think that when you look at it, when you look at such organizations, they're thriving, they're doing well, because they have intentionally chosen to be kind or to show goodness towards their employees, employers, and their partners. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, Cecilia.
Oh, I agree, because if you create a great work environment, or at least a comfortable work environment, I think you get better outcomes from your staff and from your organization. And so it seems to me, listening to your commentary on that, that goodness is actually the outcome or the action that forbearance and kindness lead to. So if it were a formula, it would be forbearance plus kindness equals goodness. And
Agreed.
so in a lot of this so far, and we still have one more section to discuss in our next webisode, but so much of this is still says to me the golden rule: treat people the way you would like to be treated. And I just saw something on LinkedIn the other day where somebody talked about the platinum rule, which I believe the platinum rule is leave people feeling the way you would like to feel. I may be misquoting that, but it's sort of another iteration for today's world. But I like the golden rule, because I think you don't know how your actions are going to make someone feel all the time. So I think treating them the way you want to be treated is going to do that, just by showing them respect, showing them patience, being kind and instead of rude. So many different things excuse me, that we can do for that. So what is one tip that you could share? We're running short on time here. So what's one tip you could share to help somebody get in the practice of being patience, using patience and forbearance and kindness and goodness in the workplace?
You know, Cecilia, I mentioned this earlier on. I think we must be positive influences, and we really have to create what we want others to become. It's going to be one person at a time. So if you, for example, if you want people to show you kindness, then you need to create kindness. If you want people to show you forbearance, which is patience, you need to be patient towards others. If you want people to show you goodness, then you need to be the first person to show goodness. And I think that that would be definitely one tip that I would like to leave with, you know, all of us as stakeholders in our business environment, that we really create what we want others to become.
I love that. That's great. And that's actually very similar to the author of Catch 22, who, of course, his name's just gone right out of my head. But and I'll remember after we're done. But he said that we become that which we pretend to be. So sometimes we have to not necessarily feel that we are that person we already want to be, but we have to work toward it. And so whoever wrote Catch 22 said that, cannot remember his name right now, but we are coming to the end of our time. The book again is Transforming Business or Godly Governance by Agnes and Miss Coleman. It's available exclusively on Amazon.com, and you can get it on Kindle or in hard copy like I have. And next week, we'll be discussing part 3 of this book. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining Agnes and me for episode 2 of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia, and we hope you enjoyed this discussion. Thanks, Agnes.
Thank you.